Hello, everyone. Welcome back again to Illiana Stock Car Radio, episode number 55 here on this.
Yeah, we're getting old.
We are. We're getting up there really, really quick, Chris. Big episode for everybody today. Our guest, the Godfather of the Dutch Mafia, Ryan Lagastee.
That's one way to put it.
Yeah, Ryan Lagastee will be our guest here in just a little bit. Also keep you up to date on all the happenings in the areas, local short tracks. So come back to us in just a minute. Hey, Chris, that's 2 weeks in a row now that has worked for us.
I'm impressed.
I'm impressed too. Therefore,
we could scared.
Yeah. So, I mean, it makes me wonder what else is going to go wrong. Which I already had that scare almost earlier, getting the show set up. My mic and camera wouldn't recognize by the computer, but we got that squared away and figured out. But
I love technology.
I know, I love it, man. So back again. A lot of racing this past weekend, Chris.
Oh my God, yeah. And we were actually a couple short from where we were supposed to be.
Yeah, exactly. Mother Nature threatened our good time. So kind of negated a little bit of our last episode, but we'll get to that in a little bit later. I see no reason to stall in bringing in our guest for this week for our local racing spotlight, a local racing spotlight presented by S4 Motorsports Marketing. You can find S4 Motorsports on Facebook and Instagram to see how they can get your small business's message out front with on and off track motorsports marketing. Like I said, guest this week, Ryan Lagastee. Let's bring him in. Ryan, you got us?
Yeah, that was fast. I was expecting you guys to talk for like 20 minutes, but here we are.
Yeah, I'll talk Chris's ear off here once we're done and bore everybody. But I didn't want to keep you waiting. I mean, you got lots of people out there, so we want to get to it, man.
Awesome. Yeah, we got a lot going on here. I appreciate it.
Yeah, so one thing we kind of like to start with all of our guests that we have on for the first time, just kind of a story about how you got involved in racing, man.
Well, I think that my family liked watching the races and probably hoped that nobody they know would ever be in racing. So I was into the Indy 500 for a long time by my dad and my grandpa. They actually used to take me to Santa Fe to watch the team demolition derbies, and I thought those were the coolest thing ever. So when I turned 15, my mom bought me an 80s Delta 88. Well, she went with me to buy it, and I did the demolition derby at the Lake County Fair. And after that, I was kind of just hooked into motorsports. It could be derbies, it could be circle track racing, it could be remote control boats somewhere, anything.
I'll tell you, man, you said it. You've raced just about anything everywhere. So if there's a track or there's a car, you've probably raced it. You've probably done it. Asphalt, dirt, every kind of discipline a little bit. So I got to know all the tracks you've run. What's the furthest you've traveled to go racing?
The furthest I traveled was in February of, I think, 2016. We went to Georgia, to Scranton, Georgia. They have a four-cylinder race every year that goes up $1,000 to win. So the year I went, I think it was $12 or $13 to win, maybe 11. I can't remember. But we qualified third and finished top 10 first time going, and I learned a lot. There's a lot of tricks and things I could get away with that I didn't know about, obviously, not have been there before. But every year, my friend Jake and I say we're going to go back, but midwinter, I'm watching football, eating cookie dough, drinking, sitting on the couch, not really feeling like built for Georgia. But supposedly this year we're going back. He tells me he's going to drag me there, so we'll see what happens.
Yeah, I'm sure kicking and screaming, right?
Yeah. Oh, yeah. I hate. Yeah. Sure. It would be rough.
So in all the discipline, both the disciplines you run, I gotta know what's the favorite?
Dirt, hands down.
Yeah.
But after being at Grundy Friday night and seeing how bright the track was, that was pretty cool. The lights and everything's cleaned up really nicely. I definitely enjoyed that. It's so hard on Fridays. I don't have a set work schedule, so I'm all over. I could be off at 8 at night. It could be off at 2 in the afternoon. So
Right.
committing to Grundy is almost impossible. But I like the people there. I have a lot of good friends, and I wish I could run a track every weekend, but it's just not possible.
Yeah, those damn logistics, and they haven't figured out how to be in two places at once just yet.
I'm working on it.
Yeah, I haven't figured out how to retire at 32 yet in order to do all these things, but we'll see what happens.
Yeah. I know Chris is he's working hard to try to get the old like splitting himself into multiple pieces.
Yeah.
So you did try your hand. So you got involved in 4-cylinders. You did try your hand at the street stocks at Illiana before. Went back to 4-cylinders though. Kind of take us through the experience of moving up to the street stocks, and maybe why you haven't really decided to move up any farther up the ladder. Just kind of been hanging out in the 4-cylinder rinks.
So in I think 2010 or 11 or 12, somewhere in that area, Dan Witt had a street stock, and he said if you wrench on it, you can race it. So I thought I fixed it up, but I didn't do a good job, so I had to redo everything I did. But anyways, I raced the car for a year. I think I was in the rookie hunt, and the last night of the year we lost the motor. So it was fun for sure. I was faster off the bat than I expected. I thought that going from front wheel drive to rear wheel drive was going to be a huge transition, but it came pretty naturally. So the main thing was a house that year, and when I daydreamed about buying my own car and all that stuff, my air conditioner blew up and a bunch of other fun things around here. So I had to be a responsible adult for a while.
That sucks, doesn't it? I mean, that always gets in the way. That always gets in the way of a good time. Seriously.
Right? I'm like, I got a lifetime sentence to the 4-cylinders. What's up with this? No.
Well, that's not a bad way to be. I mean, what is it about the 4-cylinders that just kind of draws you in and you like running those so much?
To be honest, the reason I run them still is I just don't like working on cars that much. I want them to like kind of be ready on the weekend and not have to put much effort into it. And I've done other forms of motorsports where you have to put effort into a car pretty often. I ran team demo at Route 66 in Joliet for 3 years, and we were running 12 cars a month almost for the teams that I was on. So that was one of the coolest things I've ever been involved with. I was on a team called Orange Crush and Thunderstruck for a couple years, and I don't know. That was once I was getting to the point where I was about to be married. My wife wanted me to rejoin a little less violent of an activity.
So, all right. So, keeping up in the demo derby, so you did that for a few years. You've kind of done that all around the fairs and all that stuff. What was the appeal to doing that? Just kind of get out some of that rage and aggression.
Yeah. So every year we have fairs, and I joke and tell people that I don't wreck people on the racetrack because I just go cream upon a bunch of cars at the fair and then, anger out. But I don't know. I don't think I was very angry at the time, but it just was pretty appealing to. The team demo, you don't just crash each other. The object is to have one car complete 5 laps each race, and they had me on the team as a lap runner. So you kind of combine both the worlds I like, derbying and racing. So I thought I'd be a good lap runner, and sometimes I was a good lap runner, and then sometimes I was a good lap runner. So I never really got fired from doing team demo. I just left on my own terms.
You left before they could fire you?
Yeah.
Yeah. You're like, okay, you want me to put my 2-week notice in? How about I just walk away?
Yeah.
So
Let's just call it here and be done with it, right?
Exactly.
So one other thing you like to do, Enduros. I know you've done quite a few Enduros around here, right?
I love Enduros. There's nothing I like more than Enduros. I wish they paid more, and then I just do it every day.
So what is it about the Enduros you like the most?
I like weaving in and out of traffic. I like the fact that you don't just have to be the fastest car out there. You have to. It's a game. You have to. There's so many different strategies you can use. You can fly at the start because you know some guy's faster than you, and let them use their stuff up because they think you're going to be, flying all day. You can just lay low, let everybody take themselves out. There's so many different directions you can go with an enduro, and it's more of a challenge than just like a weekly race. Plus, it's cool because you run more laps. Like 10 laps, I'm like, man, it's over. Like, what am I supposed to do? But 200 laps, you have my attention. I'm going to be out here for a long time. That's cool.
Right. You kind of getting your money's worth, right?
Exactly. Yep.
So we talk about the Enduros. Recently won your first dirt Enduro, right? Shady Hill Speedway, July 4th, 4-cylinder Enduro.
Yeah, we finally stopped being the bridesmaid. I finished second like 8 times in dirt Enduros, and finally made it to the altar or whatever they say. So Shady Hill, it didn't have a million cars. It had a good car count, but it landed up honestly being like a 100-lap feature. The guy that finished second, we changed the lead 4 times in the last lap. So we were neck and neck the whole race, and he's a good friend of mine too. So that definitely made it a little more memorable for me for a first ever dirt enduro win.
Right, yeah, I was going to ask you about that. It sounded like quite the battle between you two.
Yeah, I lost my brakes and with like 30 to go, and then I went off in La La Land. I'm like, oh man, no one's close to me. I'm just on cruise control. And then the white flag came, and you got the jitters because you thought the race was about to be over. And then this black 56 car flies past me. I'm like, oh crap! I gotta work now. Somebody else out here. So yeah, we played a little bit of pinball, and coming out of 4 on the last lap, he had the high side, I had the low side. We were neck and neck in the lapped car, picked high, and he got pinched into the wall. So, lucky me. That was luck. That was luck. It was a lot of skill before that point, but the end was luck. But we'll take it.
Right, absolutely. I know you've won quite a few enduros, man. What's been your favorite one to race and maybe even win?
But back up until 2017, Farley, Iowa had a turkey, like a Thanksgiving turkey. I don't know. They called it the Gobbler 200, and it was a couple weeks before Thanksgiving every year, and it was 5,000 to win, and I tried hard to win it and brought these hot rod cars and kept having problems right at the end. And the very last year that they won it, or they ran it, I had no car. Like 2 days before, my friend from Wisconsin sold me one, and we built it in a couple days. And technically, I did the most laps that day, but I did not win the race. I had to make a pit stop because I had a small gas tank in the car, and they docked me 1 lap for the pit stop. So I did 201 laps, but I finished second in that enduro. So that one stings a little bit because the race doesn't happen anymore. But besides that, Rockford, I love that track. The bar, the owners, the camping. My wife loves the track. That makes me love it more.
Absolutely.
So,
yeah, anytime they can get involved makes it a little easier on you, right?
Yep. The one of the reasons I knew that she might be the one, the first ever race that she went to was a spring enduro at Rockford, and I finished second in Mike Juszcz's car. And after the race was over, I was looking for her because she didn't come out on the track and celebrate or anything. I was like, man, she's a cool girl. I think I just lost her. She might not like racing. And I'm back in the pits, and I'm asking my dad, have you seen Jess? And I saw her coming back from the bar with a pitcher of beer with Ed Wolf next to her. And I said, oh, no.
Oh, no. That's not going to end well.
This is bad. And that was one of the first times I thought to myself I might marry this girl. And then also from that day, Ed and Janet and Jess and I got really close. And Jess and Ed actually have the same birthday, so they think that they're just 2 peas in a pod. And We hang out with them all the time.
Right, which still sounds like bad news for you.
Yeah, I'm not. This is a public radio show. I'm not going to share some details, but yeah,
it's a family show.
We'll save that for some bonfire conversations at the track. We're not talking about it here.
Yeah, there we go. So now I remember from back in the day, I think at one point you either stored like every 4-cylinder from Illiana or worked on every 4-cylinder from Indiana, like in your yard, right? So, and the whole Dutch Mafia thing was kind of born. So where did that all come from? And how did you get to be, I called you introing you the Godfather of the Dutch Mafia. I mean, how did that all happen?
It's pretty funny because I just worked on 2 people's cars tonight at my house that are both part of the quote-unquote Dutch Mafia. So if you thought it ended when Illiana was over, you are wrong. It still happens to this day.
Right, yeah. It's just
but I don't have as many cars. Yeah. It was funny. One night we had a bonfire after Illiana, and we looked in the yard because everybody's trucks and trailers were here, and we figured out that we had 6 of the 8 cars in the fast heat that Illiana stored in my backyard that day. I'm like, man, we gotta spread these things out a little more. So the Dutch Mafia, I mean, obviously I'm Dutch, and that was I just put Dutch Mafia on my car. I don't know, Dutch people just tend, when they get in a big group, to call themselves the Dutch Mafia. So I was like, well, we don't have a race team yet, so I guess that's my job. But all my friends seem to be really tall, which is a Dutch trait, and to be honest, about 90% of them aren't Dutch, but they're tall. So I'm just like, yeah, you're Dutch by height, so you can fit in the group. Like Jake Straka, his brother wears a Dutch Mafia shirt. Jake is the farthest thing from Dutch. He might be Norwegian. I have no idea, but his brother still wears a Dutch Mafia shirt every week.
Right, and Wayne's not very tall either.
No. So there's a few other Dutch traits. Maybe he's got one of those. Yeah. So I'm going to ask you about your hot shoe protege there, Jake Straka. So my wife went to high school with him and Wayne. So she's very familiar with Jake, and we see him running around Illiana all the time. And then he got hooked up with you, and now he's some hot shoe badass like modified guy. Right, so she knew Jake before he started talking to people.
Exactly.
I think I'm the one that made him start talking to people.
That's kind of what she thinks as well. Yeah, he wouldn't talk to nobody back in the day, but yeah, man, he kind of took him under your wing, and now he's kind of making a name for himself on the local tracks himself.
Right, he will never want us to talk about this, but here we are.
Oh, but please do.
Most humble, shy guy you'll ever meet, but. Yeah, I was about to type a status up about him running the mod last Saturday, but then I thought, hey, there's some yard work that needs to be done around here. I don't want to tick him off by posting about him on Facebook, so I kept to myself for the moment.
Right, so we just blasted about it on a radio show. That's good.
Yeah, we'll just talk about him on the. Hey, you guys asked me to be here. This wasn't planned.
We did.
So no, Jake. The way it's a crazy whole situation how he even is to where he is right now, but he added me on Facebook years ago after I did the Porter County Demolition Derby. Long story short, I just hit everything really hard the whole time and landed up not winning, but he sent me a message afterward and said, hey man, you put on a show that was crazy, like thanks for just going berserk in this derby. It was entertaining. So I just said thank you. Well, he posted hilarious things on Facebook all the time, and I was like, man, I think I could be friends with this guy, and he really likes racing. So I had an old Enduro car. I won a couple Rockford Enduros with it, and I kind of made it the friend ride. And I messaged Jake. We had only hung out, I think, once. We saw each other at the fair the year before. I messaged him and said, hey, man, you want to practice the car at Illiana? And he practiced the car at Illiana, and like he thought he was flying, he said. And I went next to him and I waved at him, and he's like, hell yeah, I'm keeping up with Lagastee. and then I gunned it and left. He's like, I shrunk pretty bad.
Yeah, I think any of us that have been in a race car the first time, we have that moment. We're like, yeah, man, I'm doing good, and then just the guy just dusts you.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So over the course of the next couple years, he ran a couple of my cars, and then he built his own car, and everybody gives him a little crap for his mechanical knowledge at the beginning, but I looked at him and was like, man, this guy's trying so hard. He's just like me. He's stubborn. He doesn't want to ask for help. He wants to figure it out on his own. And, I liked that trait because I don't like to ask for help for anything. So he ran 4-cylinders, did well at Shady Hill with the 4-cylinders, and Joe Murphy, our one friend that has built a lot of roll cages. He's helped Jake with his car when it gets wrecked, pulls the frame, whatever. Joe bought a modified and put Jake in it, and he's being quiet about it. He's not talking a lot, but he's getting faster every week. He finished second in a heat race at Shady Hill this last week, and it wasn't like just the back markers in the heat race. There's a couple really good guys there, so I'm not gonna toot his horn too much, but I'm proud of him. And
right, don't want his head to get big or nothing,
Right, we already we joke about that with him. We're like, oh, here's Jake, arrive and drive. Joe drops off the car. Where's the helicopter? He's gonna fly in any second.
Yeah, I'm Jeff Gordon in a helicopter. Yep.
He's the most humble guy. We say all that stuff. He shakes his head and he just walks away. So.
Oh man. So what's left on your schedule for 2020?
I probably am gonna run Shady Hill for not like chasing championships or anything, just having fun. I don't like championships are cool, but I have racer ADD. I need to just be on the move. So I don't care if we're leading points and there's a cool Enduro 2 weeks before the end of the season. I'll probably go do the Enduro. But I love Shady Hill. The friends I have there, the group of people, it's like the most grassroots place around here, and it just fits me. So we'll be there. I like Doherty, Boswell, whatever you want to call it, because that place you stand on the gas the whole way around. And I know I'm just in a 4-cylinder, but it's still cool. It doesn't matter.
Yeah, anytime you can just get in a car and just pin it, you're good, right?
Right? You just like at Boswell, you're in third gear, floored around the whole track. It's just a big circle, and for me, the surface isn't necessarily the best, but just being able to stand on the gas, it's my favorite place to go locally.
Sure. Well, before we let you go and wrap up the interview here tonight, we like to give our drivers, competitors a chance. Obviously, there's a lot of people that help to get us to the racetracks and whatnot every week. So we like to give our competitors a chance to give me shout outs, thank anybody that helps them out. So the floor is yours to do that.
First, probably thank my wife for putting my habit.
That's a good man right there.
She's like, oh, what's that car from? Oh, it's been here for like a year. Really? Because I saw Jake drop it off today. Oh, yeah. Well, long story. That's
damn.
That happens quite a bit around here. And just my friend group. I have zero sponsors. I think sponsorship is really cool for people that it works for, but for me, it just isn't really my thing because I'm so inconsistent. I don't want to disappoint anybody. So for me, it's just my friends, I guess my boss for paying me, and yeah, my family. My parents were at the Shady Hill Enduro. They've actually never seen me run dirt before, and so after the first practice, I went up in the stands to talk to my parents, and my mom was like, you are ridiculous. Why didn't you tell us that you fly on these dirt tracks? I'm like, I don't know.
Yeah, there's a reason for that,
So yeah, my list is not very long of people to thank, but it's honestly mostly people in the the racing community, like you guys for having this show, and tracks that are changing things like Grundy doing updates, Billy for buying Shady Hill. There's so many good people in the racing world, and that's why I'm in it. I tell people all the time, for my whole family's from New Jersey, and I don't have any family out here. So when I was younger and needed places to go, I hung out with racing people. I've gone to racing people's houses for Thanksgiving because I had nowhere to go, that type of thing. So just the whole community. I wouldn't want to be a part of anything else. I did team demo for a few years and it was fun, but we'll just say that this year and last year I just kind of came back home to the group that I was meant to stay around. So.
Well, good stuff. Well, Ryan, we thank you for giving us a few minutes of your time tonight, bud.
Yeah, thanks for listening to me ramble, and you guys enjoy the rest of your evening.
No problem, man. Again, thanks for coming on, and hopefully we'll catch you at the racetrack here pretty soon.
Absolutely.
All right. Thanks, Ryan. All right. Ryan Lagastee, the Godfather of the Dutch Mafia. Like I told him, man, I remember back in the day where I feel like he had his hand in like every
pretty much
four cylinder there, almost kind of like the Dave Dotter, the four cylinder.
I was actually about to say that he's like the Dave Dotter there on the pure stock end.
Yeah, man, but that's some awesome stuff. Gonna look forward to seeing what he can do the rest of the season as we go forward. So that being said, let's transition over to our weekly Winner's Circle segment. This segment brought to you by Damn It Race Videos. Damn It Race Videos provides quality racing videos from the Grundy County Speedway and the South Bend Motor Speedway. Watch all the videos on the Damn It Race Videos YouTube page, and also follow them on Facebook for the latest news and information on their schedule and when their videos will be posted. I can think of no better track to start with than the South Bend Motor Speedway. Big event for them this past week, the Gambler event. So here we go. Corey Ryman took the big show with Outlaw Late Model feature win, the Dan and ERA duels. That was one Kenny Wallace was in. He was there competing. Didn't look like he finished all the laps, though, so not really sure what happened there. But Corey Ryman took the feature win there. Austin Maynard picked up the Magic Matt Memorial Sportsman Late Model feature win, and then Austin Woodcox took the Doughboy Memorial for the street stocks there. Moving on, Grundy County Speedway, going a little bit of reverse order from last Friday. Their Mid-American show, Ron Vandermeer Jr. took that feature win there. Scott Gardner in the street stocks, Christy Odom in the pure stocks. So she got the win with the International Women's Motorsports Association there in attendance, so good for her. Scott Kerner took the midget feature, and Kellen Arnold won the Super Cup feature. And then, of course, unfortunately, the ARCA Midwest Tour race for this past Saturday that we had planned on, seeing. I wasn't going to be able to make it to the track. I was going to watch on Speed 51, but Mother Nature had other plans there. So,
I think when I was looking at the radar, just because I was at South Bend that night, watching it come in, thinking, "Oh yeah, that was a good call."
It was a good call. I thought they might have been pulling the trigger a little too early on that, but sure enough, right in the afternoon, it had some storms start rolling through. So it was a good call, good heads up move. And, they got a lot of guys traveling from Wisconsin and whatnot. So definitely want to catch those guys early before they head out. So let's move on to the Shady Hill Speedway from this past Saturday. 8 feature winners. Jamie Lomax took the UMP modified feature. Kyle Cooper, pro late model feature winner. John Rhodes, the stock car feature winner. Preston Oberly took the bomber feature, and Dan Marshall, the iMod division. And the Plymouth Speedway, pull them right up here. Derek Losh took the UMP modifieds. Wally Kirst, street stock feature winner. Josh Lank in the mini stocks, and Dylan Woodling in the 600 micros. Now, a lot of racing this past weekend, Christopher.
Yep, I'm going to throw in one that we didn't have results for, but Sunday afternoon, mini wedges ran at South Bend Motor Speedway. So, got all the way home and dumped the cards and came right back out to shoot some. Guess what did Tony call it? The future of racing.
That is what he called it. And next week, a little spoiler alert or preview alert, whatever, we are going to do a feature episode here on the mini wedge class at South Bend Motor Speedway. We'll have Doug Fox on the show. That's at least the plan right now. He's kind of been coordinating it on that end. So we'll bring him in, talk about the mini wedges and kind of the future of local racers, the young racers out going there, similar to similar to some other people that compete in the Bando division or karts out there. It's just another way for kids to get involved. So we'll be talking about that next week here on the show. So speaking of next week, or I guess later this week, depending on whatever, I've got a lot of got a lot more racing coming up. We're hot and heavy into the racing season, so. This Friday, the Grundy County Speedway, they will be in action. Late models, mid-am, street stock, pure stocks, super cups on hand. Also, we will have a rain date of Saturday the 18th for this Friday night's show. So one way or another, hopefully, as long as Mother Nature cooperates, they'll be racing either Friday or Saturday. Last time they tried to do a rain date on a Saturday, Mother Nature did not cooperate. So
yeah, they got dumped on a lot Friday, and it was still there Saturday.
That was crazy. Because we were there at the track, hiding out in the S4 hauler. I've never, I think, been in a trailer during a storm that big. I think we've been in the trucks before, but never one in a trailer. Man, that thing was bouncing around like crazy. So that was quite the experience. Always something. Never a dull moment when you go to the racetrack, and especially with the S4 crew who, spoiler alert, they will be racing this weekend at the Grundy County Speedway. So good luck to them. Catch them on Facebook and for all the updates there. That's a pre sponsor plug maybe. But
that'd be the second one for them, right?
Yeah, that would be good call. Good call there.
Stan, you got to pay double this week.
Yeah, he'll tell me checks in the mail, I'm sure. Plymouth Speedway, a little bit different action they've got going on tonight. They actually got the Hell Tour. Dirt late models there, I believe, this evening. But this Saturday, AMA flat track motorcycles. So a few different divisions of the flat track motorcycles there to Plymouth Speedway this weekend. So if you want something a little different, something unique, go check them out for that. I think you can go to their website and get tickets for that. South Bend Motor Speedway this Saturday, Outlaw late models, Sportsman late models, street stocks, front wheel drives, and Hornets on tap. And then Shady Hill Speedway this Saturday, the 18th, the Lucky 7 stock car race number 3 in their series. So stock car modifieds, pro late models, iMods, and the four bangers are on top there. Just a lot of racing everywhere. I mean, if you want some racing, man, get to it. Looks like it's going to be a little hot come the second half of this week.
I'm okay with hot as long as it's dry.
As long as it's a dry heat, right? Like an Arizona kind of thing.
I
right?
was thinking more so rain dates would very much complicate my schedule.
As if your schedule isn't complicated enough.
Yeah, because I'm going to throw one more on your list of upcoming this Sunday as well. Mini wedges at South Bend.
Yep, that's there. Yeah, I saw that kind of after the list was made. So, but see, that's why you're here, is you can kind of throw those things in there.
There we go.
And
I am the great editor.
Yeah.
Right.
Well, you are, because I get these done, send them to you, and if there's anything that needs to be added, you're my guy. So. So you got to tell me this. So South Bend Motor Speedway for the Gambler, you guys have like 400 photographers on hand.
I believe, I want to say I counted a dozen there, 10 were on the track.
Okay, so explain the two that were not on the track.
The two that not on the track, Ron Varash was up in the stands doing his thing, and then Stephanie Verdine, who shoots with Jay Freet, she was out in Victory Lane. Gotcha. So and then I think we stopped the show long enough for Kemperman to get out to Victory Lane and then come back in a race later.
Right. So why so many photographers, man? That's probably got to be the most photographed event like in short track history.
Well, definitely last weekend. I think it's just the atmosphere at South Bend. I've never felt more welcomed at a racetrack, and given all the racetracks that I've been to, I'm very good friends with all of them. But man, South Bend just opened their arms to me when I first started shooting out there in 2017, and the list just continues. We've got 3 photography organizations shooting out there every week, and then brought in some extra people this past week. Just it's fun.
Right.
It's an addiction.
Yeah, so now I'm going to ask you, I don't know how much you know about it, but the Clicker Click, you guys got a thing going on with Ricky from Kryptonite Photography, some kind of contest going on, right? Are are you involved in that? Or
kind of tangentially, yes.
I'm gonna put you on the spot, and I don't really feel bad about it.
Of course you don't. I am going to sneak over here to steal this other set of monitors here so I can read everything that's going on. So yeah, Ricky kind of was the spearhead behind this. So I believe it's all being run through his Kryptonite Photography page. We're running a fan photo contest. It's got 3 categories. We're going to give out prizes to the winners in each category. This is to fill the dead air while I read this.
I don't know if I can really fill the dead air. I mean, you can read out loud, right? I mean,
kind of. I'm trimming the fat here.
Let's say, don't you have an English degree? I mean,
right, but it's difficult to edit live. It's like live animation, a terrible strain on the animator's wrist.
That amongst other things as well. So what do you guys got going on at Goodacre Photography then?
Now wait a minute, you got to fill the dead air with something that I don't have to talk about so I can read.
Okay, well, how about International Women's Motorsports Association?
Okay,
they were out at the Grundy County Speedway this past weekend. Had a booth out there. So hope everybody got a chance to stop by and talk to Melinda. So we had her on the show earlier this year, and she does a great job at promoting women in motorsports from drivers, mechanics, engineers, all forms, all occupations and all forms of motorsports. So they do a good job over there. So International Women's Motorsports Association, you can catch them at iwmanation.com, also on Facebook and Instagram, I believe. Check them out. Left Turn Graphics, I believe they're going to be your presenting sponsor this Saturday night at South Bend Motor Speedway from what I saw. So if you need anything graphic-wise or maybe thinking already about thank yous for sponsors towards the end of the year, she's going to be your person over there at Left Turn Graphics to hook you up. And then Boss Man, Driving DJ and Driving DJ Network, he's got some merch out now. He's got a Teespring store. So if you want to get some Driving DJ Network merch or some Weltmeyer Racing merch, check that out on their Facebook pages, Driving DJ, the Driving DJ Network, and also Weltmeyer Racing. So he's still broadcasting races. He's doing some iRacing setup tutorials and stuff now as well. So if you're interested in seeing any of that, because the winter is going to come. Yeah, probably a lot of us want to get 2020 over with
I'm all for that.
And in the book. So we'll be going iRacing again here in the winter. So if you want to get on top of setting your cars up, maybe get some tips, pointers, or just hang out in that realm, Driving DJ and DJ Weltmeyer is going to be your guy. So all right, let's circle back to Goodacre Photography now. I've filled and I've stalled. I've done what I can do. So let's get back to Goodacre Photography and what all you guys got going on.
We're gonna skip over Goodacre Photography right now. We're gonna go back to Ricky.
All right, so Kryptonite Photography and their
photography
contest. Yeah.
So contest will run July 11th, which was 3 days ago, through the 19th. You got to submit your picture to Kryptonite Photography. It can be from any track. Winners will be announced at South Bend Motor Speedway on July 25th. So I will share this here post to our page when we're done. Basically, you got to own the picture. You got to have taken the picture. Not on the track. We don't want any like.
There's enough of you guys. There's enough of you guys.
There's that, yes. And a lot of this was Ricky put this together. So. Yeah, realistically, as long as you're not one of us professionals, not that we're all that
semi-professionals, semi-professional photographers and amateur tattoo artists,
I think right? one of the 3 categories. So it's got to be a clean, good picture. Submit what you think is best. I think my brother put in one. Pretty sure he doesn't qualify. So technically, he's one of us.
Technically, an employee of Goodacre Photography.
Yeah, So. Yeah, that's about it. We'll have the post shared here on our page after we're done, so you can read more into it, because God knows I'm doing a terrible job of describing it.
All right, well, tell everybody what you got going on with Goodacre Photography.
I have you got 7,496. Not really.
No, that's probably the number.
That is pretty close, actually. Yes, I'm actually going to finish up Grundy tonight, so we'll have Grundy posted tomorrow, and then get South Bend, I think Shady Hill, squared away by Thursday. because holy crap, this is a long weekend of racing.
Long weekend of racing, and another long weekend of racing to come. I hope everybody enjoyed the show this evening. I don't have anything else for you. Chris, you got any other final thoughts you want to leave these wonderful people with this evening?
No, I think my brain's broken.
Yeah, I hear you. I hear you there. Everybody, if you're watching us on Facebook and you haven't subscribed to our Facebook page, why not? Number one. And two, please do so. Follow us and click the bell or whatever to get notifications when we go live. So you can see us on Tuesday nights right here, 7 o'clock Central Time, normal time, not fast time, 8 o'clock fast time, I guess. But Facebook, you can also find us on Instagram. We're not the best Instagrammers, but we'll be out there soon enough sometime, with a post every few and far between. Then also, if you have friends or family that doesn't have Facebook and you still think they should watch the show, check us out on our YouTube page, Illiana Stock Car Radio. We're double streaming every Tuesday to our Facebook and YouTube pages as well. Again, we appreciate everybody coming out tonight. Appreciate Ryan Lagastee for stopping by, talking with us. And we look forward to seeing everybody here again next week. Preview of the episode, be feature on the mini wedge class at South Bend Motor Speedway at Doug Fox. That is on the books as of right now. So be sure to tune in next week for that. And until then, I'm steal words from our buddy Tony Eldridge of South Bend Motor Speedway. Get your backside trackside. We'll see you there.